themselves a black quap in that mid lane to try and take some early tempo, maybe win that 1v1. Does Faceless do the same against OG in this lower bracket match?
I think Faceless actually plays better like they did last game. You know, you get those super late game heroes. I mean, when they played against EG in that game, that was when they lost in about 25 minutes. It was rough for them. I think they just try to play a little more back, and like I said, just get way more vision, farm up a lot, and just try to win that, because OG they'll win those chaos-like skirmishes like almost every time.
So you want to approach it more of like a slow, methodical, strategic win and say, okay, we've got the better late game. Let's force OG to go into us rather than vice versa, right? And it did seem like a couple times Faceless tried to reach out and catch OG because they felt that pressure.
Yeah, exactly. I think they just play a whole lot better as a late game team rather than let's try to match their aggression team.
I like the point that you brought up. It's will they continue to go with more of a scaling mid, something like the OD or the Shadow Fiend that we've seen, or something like Queen of Pain and Puck, who've benefited a lot from this patch, not only in terms of being able to bully the lane, be able to get kills, but are very difficult to gank. If you have a Pudge, say, roaming on a Queen of Pain or a Puck, it's a much more difficult prospect than a Shadow Fiend or even an OD. So if that's a direction that they want to go, or if Black feels comfortable playing those heroes and being more of that kind of Armel type of tempo control that we've seen from SEA, then it's a direction they could go.
I think the biggest thing, they didn't really have much like movement, right? You have a Shadow Fiend, you have a Troll. Meanwhile, they have No Tail on that Arc Warden. You can just send Illusion, gank. Like, you have to come in a lot if you're Faceless in that last draft. And I think that's where Quap comes in. She can move around a lot quicker and actually be at those fights in time.
The Arc Warden Troll interaction is also something to watch. I think Faceless picked Arc Warden against a newbie Troll in Star Ladder, and ended up being a really long game, but you can kind of see why they think it answers Troll. At some point, you can't ignore the illusion of the Arc Warden if it becomes farmed enough, but if you pop your BKB on it to deal with the Flux, then it becomes an issue. By the time you maybe get to the backline and get to the real Arc Warden, you run out of gas, or you can be kited or disabled. Also, if you try to stay in range form, obviously the magnetic field is a big problem for the Troll.
Yeah, we didn't have to see them push uphill and do it last game. That's how, I mean, if they had to do that, it would have been almost impossible.
Wasn't that the same game that they had Tinker as well? And it was that long, drawn-out game where they were just kind of like dodging the Troll and never really band fighting him into him. That was kind of the same strategy OG employed there. Faceless going to open with a Clockwork here against the first pick Warlock by OG. No Legion Commander banned away. I thought maybe Bristleback would be a hero they'd latch onto this game and say, we're going to have this kind of mid-game dominator. OG are going to have a hard time fighting us and maybe go for a harder late-game carry. But
it seems like OG always plays in numbers. Maybe Legion Commander, they realize they're like, oh, it doesn't really matter. We're just always get outnumbered, so Legion Commander is kind of useless. And I just like how they always open with like Warlock or Crystal Maiden. They just don't give you anything, and then you have to pick a core. And every time they like pick their middle, they just get destroyed pretty easily.
Faceless seem to have no problem with their opening from last game. Clockwork and Crystal Maiden as a duo once again.
Considering that if the Pudge was banned, they might try to go for that Shadow Fiend second again, but there's obviously other roamers who can threaten that, so if Faceless doesn't want to match the roaming rotation, or if they would also try to run some kind of surprise jungler at the end, it would make sense that they can hide their core picks for the time being.
I feel like last game, like Crystal Maiden was strong enough that they felt like it was going to be banned at the 3-4, and that's what behooved them to grab it now.
It could be. I mean, it's been such a staple hero for them. It really enables all of their more independent lanes that they tended towards in the last patch. So just a good general hero, as you've said, that doesn't really give away too much either.
Yeah, and then you can, I mean, if you really want, you can go jungle no matter how useless it is, or you just move around. OG takes that Sand King.
Still an open 3-4 position on both sides with the Clockwork and Sand King. We presumed that the Clockwork was going to be our 4 position. We were surprised by the Enchantress pickup.
And I still feel that Enchantress pickup just felt a little off, right? We said they needed that control, they needed that stun to get to No Tail, and that was the whole thing. They never got to No Tail. It was just super rough for them.
It seems like instead they were like that they wanted to be able to attack very early and kind of set the game by a strong laning phase.
But if Enchantress falls behind, you're never catching up with that hero. 0 farm potential. Especially without Midas.
So Terrorblade being banned out again, that's something that, say, Bristle and Troll might have some trouble against if they want to go that direction. But what's been interesting about this patch is maybe you don't have as many incredibly overpowered heroes with that first pick that are as important. So some teams may be prioritizing, say, getting the supports first, hiding your picks a little bit, obviously going for the second pick that we've seen a lot of teams favor because it gives you the last pick of the draft as well to try to counter that mid. So that's something to keep an eye on.
It seems like a lot of the teams that have been trying to pick those middle heroes in the first two just get destroyed. I mean, we saw the Shadow Fiend last game get destroyed when Sumail picked that Puck in the first out of the game. He got destroyed. Like, it's so easy to counter mid heroes.
Yeah, everybody I talked to about 7.06, all the pros were saying mid's so important that I think it just kind of has to be last pick. And then certain heroes just seem to, certain mid heroes like the Ember, like the Queen of Pain.
There you go. That's one way, get the crowd behind you.
Faceless absolutely needs the crowd behind them here at the Manila Masters, as they are one game away from elimination.
And they're playing against the best team in the world, bar none, so
Yeah.
everything you need.
I thought that was EG Grant.
No, maybe.
SF going to be taken away. This time, instead of banning Anna's Storm Spirit, they're going to ban away the Ember. What was it about the opener last time? Was it the SF versus Storm matchup that they just didn't want to have that?
I think maybe they just didn't want to give him even more mobility than they had with that Arc Ward. And by giving him an Arc Ward and Storm, you're actually never going to see anything on the map. That time they just had, I mean, until the Invoker gets farmed, gets those boots, trowels, and TVs around, all he has is that Sunstring.
Yeah, without too much hard lockdown either, they wouldn't necessarily want that Storm roaming around. I'd look out for a maybe Disruptor pick here from OG. It's something that they use very frequently. Outside of SKS, maybe not used as much, but with the Sand King, these two heroes, if the Sand King moves to the offlane and sets up that Disruptor, they have a ton of big ult and a ton of AoE disable coming out. So gives them something against the Clockwork too, and if they're playing from ahead, if they're controlling the pace early on, the hero just becomes stronger and stronger.
And they just love team fight, and Disruptor provides quite a bit of that.
Seems like most of the time from the 4 position, we have a support that is able to make things happen for S4. Sankey could be one of those heroes, but do you think there's a 4 position out there that will do more for you? Like the Kunkka, they grabbed the Chen that one time. That was not great.
Interesting. Yeah, I think if you want more lockdown, if you want more early game team fighting, you take it, but Weaver here now picked up, and I don't think has Faceless ever played the support role, Weaver?
Yeah, I believe
Yeah,
Jobs played
they switched up. Yeah.
Ton of versatility here.
So it could still be our offlane Clockwork, but with the Storm Spirit now grabbed, I mean, I kind of felt like the Weaver core was all right because we saw the mobility is going to be great versus the Warlock. The Sand King just has his Burrow Strike, so once you have a Linken's, you're able to kind of ignore that stun. Storm Spirit, his timings are a little awkward for Weaver. You definitely have some very notable weaknesses, right? But
there we go. There's your vision here. They have a ton of it now. Like you said, with that Weaver and that Night Stalker, and that's a lot of good early movement. You can just run around Night Stalker with that high armor.
We talked about this in the first game draft. But in this case, obviously not just a vision, but a threat to the Storm Spirit, being able to potentially silence the Warlock. I think Faceless's lineup favors a lot of chaotic fights right now. For Clockwork, you want to be able to isolate the Warlock. For Weaver, you want to avoid these kind of frontal engagements. You can get to the back, or you can focus on when it's out of position, and it makes it a bit harder for OG to fight.
That's smart, because OG always tries to take those chaos, so you might as well fight fire with fire.
one thing that they, what are some strong heroes versus the mobility of the Weaver from the safe lane for OG? Because we already kind of have our carry for OG and that Storm Spirit mid for Anna. What's No Tails here?
I think potentially something like a Sven could work here. You don't have a lot of scaling physical damage here from Faceless, and then obviously with being able to use his armor against the bugs, and something that gives them more of a scaling, take advantage of jungle resources too if they don't think it's too greedy.
Yeah, I think Sven could get kited around a little bit hard by like the Clockwork, the Weaver, and the Night Stalker. I mean, you'd have to have a really good jump in, but you do have Warlock and Sand King, so Sven is pretty good.
And controlling supports, you said Disruptor, right? Still kind of feeling that?
5 seconds remaining.
If they do choose the offense.
Oh, they actually picking up their carry now instead of waiting for their last pick. Maybe that means that they still have S4's hero out there somewhere. The Lycan.
That might be a pick that they're taking away from Faces as well with the synergy with the Night Stalker. Double the bonuses, and increasing their ability to fight early on as well with the Howl.
This gives them another, like, a hero. They already have the team fight now. They can fight around Roche out those first 3. Now it gives Lycan. He can outdo Roche if they want to just sit around it, and they can really control it almost even better than Faceless can now.
Faces' lineup kind of looks like one of those lineups that wants to be able to focus one hero down pretty quickly. That Howl is definitely going to be kind of putting a stopper in that damage that comes out. Delays the death quite significantly.
I know you were saying Disruptor. Like, have you? I'm sure, Jack, you've played Disruptor versus Night Stalker. Isn't it like the worst feeling in the world?
Well, there's a lot of targets that he wants to silence this game, right? So
True,
I mean,
but even if he just chases you, just runs at you, right clicks you, what are you gonna do about it?
yeah, with that Night
Just
Stalker,
rough it
they
out.
might want to reconsider that. And also, for whoever the final Faceless core is, I mean, you have to worry about this Lycan now because your ability to hold them in place and stop them from running through the backline is an issue for them. Storm does that as well. So.
Well, Faceless seem to think it's S4's hero, and it surely is. A big team fighter and a nice bit of sustained Darkseer.
Yeah, I love when teams are doing this. They pick those 4 like heavy team fighters, and then you have that really strong carry and Lycan. A lot of teams are just doing it now. NP's been doing it a ton, and it's been working out for them.
Well, the Weaver's okay with this matchup, right? If it's going to be a safe lane Weaver, he can go against the Darkseer without feeling a whole lot of pressure from those Ion Shells. They're mid carry for Black.
It's interesting because they banned out Troll, and I think we've seen like 1 Troll. Troll doesn't match up very well against Storm.
What about a Black Invoker? No?
What about it?
I know the crowd likes it.
I think they like Ice Ice Ice.
I wonder if they go with like OD or Medusa or something like that this game. Some little bit of save, a little bit resilient against the damage of OG.
Yeah, I like OD locking down Lycan. I mean, you just throw him under. I mean, that's a big chunk of his ulti gone. You just right click someone like Warlock, but no. Oh,
Is he going to be playing it?
he has to. There's no way Black doesn't play, right, Chad?
A Black Animage?
There you go. He
There we
has.
go.
So that's gonna be a.
He's
I'll
saying
play Night Stalker.
he said he dethroned
Yeah.
Burning as the anti-mage king. We'll see this game.
We'll see
And they have
this.
something up their sleeves, right?
Yeah.
It's all
This-
about the video.
This is definitely his chance to prove who's superior against the best team in the world. Grant, you feeling it?
Ask Jack first.
No, I like OG's draft better. I think it's a little bit easier to play and execute as well, and I think there's a lot of pressure on Faceless this game.
Jack brings us back down to reality. Grant,
Unfortunately, I was gonna do the same. I was hoping I didn't have to do it, so I agree. OG, I just think they're just gonna control a lot like last game.
all right, I'm going to believe in Faceless, and I hope the crowd will too, so we can get a game number 3 back to our casters for game number 2, Toby Wan and Merlini.
Merlini, that draft from OG does look very, very good. But we're bringing back Black's anti-mage. He's going to go into that 1 role, or maybe even mid lane. We'll see how it rolls out. Is this Faceless draft enough to steady the ship and force a game 3?
I am not sure. Do you believe in Black?
I believe in Black, but I also believe in OG's draft being insanely good. So I'm kind of along the lines of the panel as well, that OG, it looks like it would be very difficult to lose this game. I don't know if there's really much of an answer to the Lycan either. It seems just be this pickup where there's no direct control, there's no amplification, there's nothing that's going to hold him in position. He's going to run around, and that Crystal Maiden was food last game. Should be 1 swipe for the Lycan this time.
Later on in the game, though, if anti-mage gets out of control, they also have no control for the anti-mage. So perhaps Black can get out of control. I think Lycan Wolves are a common counter to Clockwork because you can always see his movements. Clockwork is not a farmer. You can go Midas on him in Iron Talon, but he's still not going to scale very well with items. And with Lycan, you can always keep him in check with the Wolves. Block hook shots, scout his movements, tank battery assault. There's lots of things you can do with him.
And I'm looking forward to seeing how Faces do try and execute it. So as far as our lanes go, it actually looks like the Weaver's going to be running the top. Now, something else just to mention, the fact that we had Ice 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 on the Clockwork in the last game. This time around, they're prioritizing the Night Stalker. Do you think this is a reaction to the Storm Spirit, where they feel like they need more to work on this Night Stalker? Are we actually looking as well for the flying high Night Stalker?
I still have not seen that yet.
We have to remember the changes to the Night Stalker. Now he's able to take flight.
He's going to be hard-pressed to find farm, however. Probably needs Midas this game. Midas Axe.
That would be difficult. Because you start to wonder then, like, can OG start to control the area of the map where Faces want to farm? Like Black's anti-mage, you know what he's going to want to do. He's going to want a massively heavy farm. Running this Crystal Maiden anti-mage together in the mid is actually pretty damn good as far as a harassment against the Storm Spirit. burn them out. And just, it's almost very similar to something. I know I always give credit to Waga for that one, for the Crystal Maiden plus the Anti-Mage together as the dual mid.
It's old school.
It's very old school. But you've also got Jabs walking around as that support Clockwork. So see how much interference you can run against the Darkseer.
They don't have good lane shovers, though. I think the Darkseer that you just mentioned is going to be able to push in lanes with Ion Shell with ease. And on the other side, you have like Storm Spirit, Sand King. Like these heroes are really good at pushing in lanes. On Faceless, you just have the Anti-Mage, I would say, who's really good at shoving in lanes. So they might be in a similar sticky situation last game where they might not be able to fight whenever they want to.
This actually feels very similar to last game as well. That first start where the creep wave is over on the Radiant side. Now Jabs, he wants to fight here, walking into the lane, but really unless Jirax hangs around a little bit closer towards Nuts, they're not going to get the Frostbite off. So as Faceless committing an early smoke to try and get the advantage there, at the end of the day, they all just start running away together. Jabs does have the movement speed thanks to the boots he's got. So Jirax, well, Burrow strikes down the hill and away from the battery assault.
It's all his mana, though.
True. He's got one clarity available. Jabs really wanted to try and fight this. Orb of Venom versus, well, whatever the hell he's got.
Orb of Venom for the extra harass is pretty interesting. Don't see it that often on roaming Sand King. Normally you want the boots, but if he's just going to be parked in mid, you don't really need the movement speed too much, especially if you're versus a melee hero.
No. That was the plan. I'm going to have all my mana gone anyway, as long as I keep hitting Black and making his life difficult in mid. It gives Anna the potential for kill, and Black is already fairly low. Got the salve coming out in the courier that's passing the tier 2 at the moment.
Dire's middle
Yeah,
tower
his CS
is
is
under attack.
decent right now, but normally you can pressure the Storm very early on with the Anti-Mage, but with Jerax there, it's very hard for him to get rid of on his mana.
And the supports from Faceless aren't committing towards that mid lane either. Like, Black is now alone. Jirax is sitting side by side with Anna, so at least there's a level advantage going the way of Black behind the town. Not that that's really going to assist the Anti-Mage that much. The Crystal Maiden's looking for something else. Needs to head up towards the top lane. XY has been doing it tough. 8-2 up against the 13-0 of S4, not to mention the 3.5 levels. It's going to be very fast levels up in the Iron Shell. And eventually a very farmed up Darkseer.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. Weaver versus Darkseer is not a good matchup at all. Especially if he has a TP scroll on him. There's not really that much they can do.
Jabs is coming against mid. He'll actually clog up Anna, and with the 2 illusions, does he actually have enough damage for this? Black's trying to cut his way through. The very far will keep Anna alive, but Jabs, he'll actually get the last bit of damage in, and Faceless will spill First Blood with the assistance of the illusion rune.
Yeah, what great positioning by the illusion runes too. He made it much more difficult for him to walk out of those cogs. And just one rotation by Jabs, finally successful for him.
You can create a little bit of space from this.
I wonder what build he's going to go for on the Anti-Mage. Sometimes you'll see like double regen, like a Ring of Regen and a Ring of Health, one for Battle Fury and one for the Vlads. Because you don't really want to go bottle on him.
Yeah, especially for this mid.
Yeah, but you certainly need a lot of regen so you can walk up, because Storm's going to drop Remnants and you need to be able to tank them up. Nuts in a little bit of trouble here.
Yeah, Nuts, he's still next to the Ancients. Jirax timing a beautiful... No, he didn't! Nuts actually gets denied by the Ancients. Jirax is going to feel robbed from that. He Burrow striked at the perfect moment, but Crystal Maiden gets punched down by the Golems.
He didn't actually stun like as far as he could. If he stuns deeper in, then maybe the neutrals can't hit the CM while he's up in the air, or she's up in the air rather, but he also didn't want to tank that much damage from the neutrals. He thought he could get away with the kill. I thought he almost had it right there too.
But misses out. At least he's able to steal the bounty rune. Has his own Observer Ward. There's, yeah, we understand he doesn't have the bounty rune anymore.
Thou art denied.
And we do hit our first nighttime phase, and this is something we've really got to keep a close eye on, especially as ISIS in the first nighttime phase gets fatally bonded up to a neutral camp. There's not a healthy man as the Night Stalker.
Thank you.
At least he can leech.
Yeah. He's working his way to phase boots as well. Oh, middle lane, battery assault again, a beautiful cogs. Anna can't get out of this one. Nuts gonna learn the frostbite, and Anna, he's gonna fall. 2 kills go the way of Faceless and the 1 denial against the SK. Seems at least as far as the kill board goes, it's a good start for Faceless.
Certainly so. Storm almost level 6, I suppose, maybe like a minute longer for him, but they're... I don't know, this is not really good for OG at all. I don't think they want the anti-mage to be this far ahead in terms of experience, and he's also going to be able to farm much, much faster too with the ECM aura.
You got a smoke gank coming in from Jabs and Nuts because they're the ones also getting levels by these successful ganks. And they're looking for more. They're looking for Ana, who's jumped back to try and farm up. Now, if he goes down that little ramp, he's not going to see anything. Jabs us up with the Battery Assault, and here we go. It's Deja Vu. Jabs the Battery Assault damage. Ana will fall. And now both heroes, actually, Jabs hits 4, Nuts is encroaching on it. Is there any punishment? There isn't, especially during the nighttime. They might be concerned what the Night Stalker will get up to as he goes missing on the map.
They just need to get 6 on him as soon as possible so that he... yeah, there's going to be the root from Nuts. I wouldn't be surprised to see him max plus by this game, but he needs to get 6 ASAP so he can just dodge up. But the time is going to be limited for him. Clockwork very good at this early phase in the game, but once Wolves start leveling up and once the Ball Lightning starts to get leveled up, but he's been in the same experience for like a minute now.
He can't get out of it. And you can see what's going to happen. Oh, he's going to walk into Jabs. Careful, where is the slowdown? Thought for a moment Black may even start using his Mana Void just to hold him in position for a little bit longer. But not going to happen. And S4, he can't come over and help. Even he is rather low. Oh, Frostbite. They find Jirax. Quick Burrow Strike away. The cogs from Jams more than likely was just hoping for a burn on the SK.
That double mana burn synergy. I remember we used to see like Quas Wex Invoker sometimes with the anti-mage, so you can get more mileage out of your Mana Void. Same with Nyx Assassin. Clockwork, not as great, but at least he doesn't interrupt the flow with a melee hero like you would with like a Sven who doesn't have a natural blink.
Jirax is hoping for a moment on the Weaver. Now, Weaver does have time lapse available. So XY, this Burrow Strike from Jirax connects. You know what he's going to do. Time lapse back out again. Even stop for a moment just to attack. Chikuchiing up. Sentry Ward gives him the vision. And now another Burrow Strike 1 second away. And now Jirax, he can go for it like a wolf form up. And this is a Weaver who is very dead. S4 finds the kill, allowing the Iron Shell work, and Nuts, no. Poor Crystal Maiden, give her mercy. Dog on Maiden, this is not the fight the Maiden will win. And this will now allow OG to aggressively push while in mid lane, Jabs goes again. Ana still shy of his level 6. Jabs to take a lot of damage. The Mana Void from Black, not enough. He needs a little bit more work, but when the Shadow Word is protecting the Storm Spirit, there's too much regeneration for him to dive under a tier 1 tower to battle, and he knows it.
And a skill blow right there, 2-3-1, not enough points in the mana break to actually nail him. And he also cast the Mana Void a little bit early, thinking that he could get the kill. Flies there to save the day.
Ice. See a small lane change up as S4 will now go against him on the bottom lane. He was beating into the tier 1 tower, but as nighttime ends, you know this is not going to last much longer.
And none of these heroes can deal with the Ion Shell. At no point in this game has Darkseer been paired up versus the anti-mage, the only hero that can deal with it realistically.
Jabs. Nighttime going to be actually pushed out by Darkness, and the Battery Assault, cog him up. You got Void in 5 seconds time. S4 moves out the back of the cogs, meaning he'll actually get burned. They need one more attack. The Battery Assault will help him, but it's Ice who will find the kill. A lot of aggression. Speaking of that, up towards the top lane. Burrow Strike into the Weaver, able to time lapse off the damage, and Nuts, the Frostbite. No Tail is trapped in here. Chikuchi forward from XY. Finds the kill on the Lycan.
A critical point for them. I think he used a Howl on the bottom lane to try and save the Darkseer over there, but he didn't have it right then. Nighttime is a big health boost for them.
Jirax, I think, is hoping to try and contest the farming of this stack. While that's going on, Black is playing this almost like a safe laner. Okay, Jirax, you want to try and contest it? Chikuchi forward, the Nova, the attack. Okay, you got enough. The Weaver Bogs will be on him. He can't kill this in time. So instead, XY can get a little bit more aggressive onto Fly. Just keep him low and back on top of the tier 1 tower. Keep distraction up and allow Black to continue to creep skip in this mid and force rotations defensively from OG. And goodbye, Ice.
Control's not going to come out for a while though, especially with Ana not having a good early game at all. Black can remain uncontested for quite some time. So at this point, you just assume the anti-mage is going to have a free next 10, minutes of the game and start focusing on the other heroes. I do like the read by XY that he had on top to predict where Jerax was going to move around, limit the Sinking's blink timing so you can start taking out these team fights 4-on-5.
I'm certain if they're sacrificing the top tower, if not, it's just TP'd out because he was completely out of mana in one of his Tranquils. He went all the way home and left Weaver alone to defend the tier 1.
And now I think it becomes more of a vision game. No-Tail is getting very high level in his wolves for the perma invis, and it is daytime, so they feel a little bit safer right now.
Well, for now.
For now.
I'm still wondering if they can contest it. There's a Vladimir's being built up onto Night Stalker. It's also that old school way of making sure your offlane is able to give the regeneration to the anti-mage. You can push in, potentially take Roshan a little bit earlier than normal.
I like that build from them. They don't want to fight 4-on-5 in the mid game, which is very typical with AM lineups. And they're going to try and contest a lot.
Down, Anna doesn't have mana. He can't get out. He's got 4 one-shots available. He'll be burnt out heavily. The mana void from Black. It spills out to Fly, and Fly with the battery assault, meaning he cannot run away. OG will lose 2. Close to the safety of their mid lane, but not safe enough.
And these cogs are just ping-ponging them around. So much mana has been burned from those cogs.
And problematic for OG. Now 3-8 on the board. They're 3,000 gold behind, same in the net worth.
They can't afford to lose Rosh. I think Lycan is awful without Roshan. Faceless with a very strong early game. Jab's movements have been spot on in limiting Ana's early game, but as we well know, Ana has had some bad starts and is very well and able to come back into the game.
Black really wants to finish off this tower. It's within deny range and he really wants the money. No-Tail was battling with him for it, but on bottom lane, the attack onto Jabs, the Burrow Strike. Is it going to be enough to get a little bit more distance? S4, he can't close it. Okay, he can. He'll use the back to help out, but now Night Stalker up and towards the air, had the vision on the Sand King. Now to find that kill, Nuts a quick TP out. Crystal Maiden gets to live.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
But Ice has been chased down. Dog form with Iron Shell right behind him, pouncing forward, but Night Stalker's still got the dark, he's still got the movement.
And the flying.
And while all this is happening, XY is having the freedom of the top lane. Going directly into a Lincoln Sphere, doesn't want to have that direct control over him. Actually, did he change? Yeah, he actually changed. He's now got the Dragon Lance with the Perseverance on him.
Dragon Lance over Lincoln. A lot more damage. I suppose they're not really
Nice
worried about him dying over
XY
here.
very quick on the time up. He's still got another Shakuchi available and committing the epicenter. Speed will it be enough to escape the ripples? XY so low. One charge is committed, but he didn't have another Shakuchi. Anna just bowling his way forward. Able to find that opening while on bottom lane. No-Tail's in trouble. Another initiation from Jabs. This one didn't even require the hook shot. It was just the control from Ice. It will help add the pressure and push the bottom lane. Ice intentionally tanking that bottom tower to make sure the catapult stays up as well.
This map is so dark for OG. They have the two ores on top, but the bottom side of the map is really scary. You usually don't see Lycan get picked off that much in this situation, but he needs it to farm, especially when they don't have too much farm on their other cores right now. And looks like they will have a mech coming out on Darkseer in just a couple hundred gold. And after that, they can fight off this onslaught from Faceless.
Note to the change in build with Ice. Actually, I say the change in build. He already had it finished on the courier. He's now looking to his next item. This is going to be a very, very hard to deal with hero, especially when he can keep just popping off these silencers and voids. There's more cover fire, so Black can finish off the tier 2 tower 13 minutes in, and the first tier 2 tower of OG falls.
And that should be his battlefield. He can just farm 1 or 2 more ancient camps, go to the side shop, and that's, what, 13-minute battle period for him.
Not too bad for a mid anti-mage.
Yeah, not bad at all. They're playing around him very well. Like, Storm doesn't really want to go in his lane, and none of these heroes are
They're going again. Jabs is found flying. Anna will jump in. They're trying to share the battery assault. Here comes the Weaver Bugs, however. A quick Shakuchi through and Fly will fall. They would love to get the kill. A quick little dusting, but you got that time lapse available. But if they can keep the control up, no, they cannot. Shakuchi, run. Jirax goes for the blind stun. He didn't know where he was, while in comes your anti-mage. Picking up Anna on the back line. It's going to be Ice. Still has that darkness available, but while nighttime doesn't really feel the need to limit it any further.
the Night Stalker's a big issue. They just constantly just blindsided by all these
He's going
maneuvers.
again. Like, Ice is underneath the tier 2 tower. Silence it up, Jirax, then goes, takes towards the edge. Jirax has the epicenter available. Now it's going to commit it. Nice says, no. Over to the tree lines. Where can he jump again? Where's the extra help? Back and back in again. You got one charge available. XY is going to be here. The bugs and tanking getting too much damage. The Rocket Fatal Boss. This will create the space they want. Anna jumping in as well. They're holding the Weaver there. As OG punish the aggressiveness that comes from Faceless.
It treads tisk Weaver.
Brutal, savage, ranked.
Ice doing the commentary for us.
I thought we did fight right for a reason.
Is under attack.
Well, that top tower is now going to fall down with the extra Warlock Golem behind it. Very simple to pick off the tower. We're also starting the small little rotation, another hard place for Nuts to try and survive. When you start iron shelling up Lycan Wolves,
Tower has fallen.
looking for the easy burn to a simple jump in from Anna. And they are coming for Nuts.
Not that many heroes are susceptible to the Ion Shell Wolf, though. I guess maybe Crystal Maiden.
Get out of there, Nuts. Get out of there. He's sentries just so he can try and protect himself in the mid lane. But he knows, like, it's not that hard for Anna even just to, like, right now it is because his TP's on cooldown, but if he TP to the try and just balls forward, he can kill Nuts and then jump straight back out again. The issue is when he finds heroes like this, Ice. He's a bat out of hell, straight over the hill and far away.
Ranked.
They really can't catch him until Storm gets a lot more items. But if Storm gets more items and you're using all your mana, then you just get eaten up by a mana void. So he needs the Lincoln Sphere at some point. But I think that Faceless are starting to tighten the screws. They can do Roche very early on.
He's going to find the target he sort of wanted. It's the hook shot forward. Jams and Nuts combining together with the battery assault. Burn a little bit of the mana, but the Burrow strikes forward. But the big one's back. It's Ice. Needs the vision. Able to find it now that Jirax comes out of his sandstorm. Keep the silence up, and Jirax will fall. Faceless, heavy on the movement. They always want to keep OG guessing what's happening. And while all that keeps going on, you create more and more space. Anti-Mage is getting bigger and bigger. When Mana Style completes, even if you do have that Bloodstone over on the Storm Spirit, you'll burn. You'll burn so quickly, and then Mana Void just becomes a weapon for Faceless.
Certainly, but what are your other options besides firing up in the Storm Spirit? They're in no position to push towers down right now, which is generally what you want to do with a Lycan at this point in the game. But it's darkness most of the time. The supports don't feel safe running out to place wards. They don't want to use smokes for it, and it's what, maybe just a few more minutes until nighttime. But Faceless are also just farming incredibly well on the Anti-Mage right now. He has his Battle Fury, his main Stateroid, and
They're going
he
bottom.
is peaceful and happy.
Darkness isn't available for the moment, but Jams, hook shot, 2 seconds, 1 second. There goes your Sentry Ward. Burrow Strike back, actually catching both the heroes, but Nuts will arrive into the tree lines. He puts in his own Sentry Ward and Storm Spirit, jumping forward. Nuts, he has the freezing field, and he may have to help out Ice. The epicenter damage from Jirax. It may be enough, 15 HP. Okay, the last point of damage is in from Anna.
Jirax has been a saving grace for OG in this early game. He's died a fair amount, but he's still luring them away. Even when he does die, he runs the opposite direction away from his towers just so Faceless can't get in that extra chip damage for the towers. And it's nighttime, or it's daytime right now, so they can make a few plays and a few kills here and there, but
Okay, Nuts will die on the bottom lane, so they're getting pickoffs, but I continue to look over towards XY. Any hero that comes to this top lane is having real issues. He just throws out the swarm, gets the connection, and now they try and go on to him. Underneath the tower, the damage, time-lapse available right now. He tried to wait a little bit longer, so then Shikuchi's back off cooldown. There goes the Scarabeetles out once more, and Jirax, he's back in. To the tree line is where XY goes. TP Stroll's available, and he will use it.
nice try by Jirax to have that prediction play, but they're also just tight on money for detection. He had to make a blind play there because they just have no money. They're trying to get their Flint Daggers, they're trying to spread out farm with their cores, they're trying to not get Roche taken for free.
It's just so much you have to commit to kill off one of these heroes. Like Black, once he has the mana style, they don't have the lockdown to really control him. And he's had free farm with this. And he can also solo up a lot of heroes that try and have a crack at him. But it's the fact that Weaver is able to harass you out of the lane when you only commit one hero. So you want to then commit 3, 4 heroes? It has to come from Jirax. You're not going to drop the rock for this.
I don't
The
even
rock
think
is
you
the
can
only
kill
thing
him.
that's stopping Faceless from just pushing you.
He has back mana shield right now. They don't have that much physical damage.
Long jump, they're going in. Hawk shot, tries to create a little bit of space, but a lot of mana left here on Ana. Can he jump out the freezing field? The damage isn't enough. The bugs are on him, denied. Black just wanted a mana void, and it would have been the kill for him. But that's your first use of Bloodstone, is to deny your own death.
He thought he could get away with +1. 50 seconds before nighttime, darkness pop straight into the pit with an early Vlad's anti-mage. Should be able to take this with ease. They do have a sentry ward, no chance of wolf steal, but Ana is up if they want to play.
Well, they're smoking. They want to try and come up. Jabs is moving up to the high ground, but Roshan's already dead. They've got so much power in the 3 cores of Faceless that OG just had no time to respond. And Black, well, he's standing his ground. He's got the Mana Psalm plus the Aegis Immortal. He wants to fight. He wants to tank the rock if it's possible. Cogs are down. No time to run straight through it. Gets burned up a little bit more. And Jabs back to the safety of his side of the river. But it's back in again for XY. Where's your opening? Where's your detection? Nuts is there. They hold the frostbite, forcing Anne to burn even more mana, but Black loves that. Blink a little bit further away. Fatally bonded up to practically nothing. Where is the opening they really want? The mana void. Hold it for now. Burn off a little bit more of that Storm Spirit, and then you can come in. Executed underneath his own tier 2 town. The bugs are out, so flying. The ability to survive this is almost next to impossible. S4's going to try and help, however. The quick surge back to the fountain while Black got triple kill. The bug will finish the job. They'll bring down S4. And now, in fact, again, all 5 heroes of OG down, Faceless, one after the other, picking off OG on the field of battle.
Black's in his happy place right now. He had a few kills in early game. He had his me time for about 15 minutes, and now he's ready to fight.
He's got 14,000 net worth at the top of OG, which is not even 8,000. It's just shy of it.
Are fortified.
He's looking at Butterfly as his next major item. There's no BKB. There's no more defensiveness.
Is under attack.
He's going straight for the big guns.
I do like the Vlad's first on the Night Stalker. I think it really sped up their game not going for the Midas. And I think they could have just split push out the lanes as OG and maybe try to keep up in farm if he had gone for the Midas, but because he didn't and is just all up in their face all the time. Yeah, he's going to die here and there, but he's still just making them feel so confined and claustrophobic inside of the Radiant.
Bottom lane, Jirax Burrow strikes straight to the epicenter. He needs a little bit more help. The dog is on its way. Notel running himself forward, but up to the trees. He'll fall on down. Where's your stun? Where's your control? He played that perfectly. Ice. Jirax silenced, unable to burrow. They really need something. And picking off the weakest of the 3 cores is still hard on like against Faceless. And now the tier 2 tower's under attack. Okay, that's one way to do it. Copy Black, use his own abilities against him. A 3-man back is nice, but it was too far away from the wall. And Animage is his own worst enemy at the moment.
Get away from me. They want to kill that, but Black's like, nah, I have better creeps to slay.
Faces are still hoping for a fight. They would love it. They got the Aegis Immortal outside their base. They know OG is the walking wounded. And Fly, the normal intimidation that comes from an OG Warlock, that rock drop, it just doesn't exist for them. Because there's no damage to follow up the second the rock hits.
On top of that, Faceless can just exit the fight whenever they want. Time lapse, blink out, Aegis, Cog can run away. There's not great chase by OG, and even if they do want to chase with a Storm, further he chases, the bigger the mana voids.
I got a funny feeling the team checked the quick buy of Black. He's actually bought the Basher, is now looking towards the BKB. Storm Spirit and jump into the mid. They still haven't got XY. Night Stalker's in the neighborhood. If you want to fight this one, you're going to do it with a Swarm on your back with Jirax, as well as Anna got hit by that. Anna jumps almost out of mana. Hawk shot barely misses. Black loving the fact that Anaki's burning his mana, but the mana void wasn't enough damage.
Dire's bottom
It is a level 3.
Very patient with the hook shot. They don't want to commit to a fight right now because the rock has not been dropped yet. They can just slow siege. They have the team fight items up on the Night Stalker. He went for the Solar Crest. Solar Crest and Blast just makes your frontline tower hitter, the anti-mage, this game incredibly tanky, even more farm than he already is. You're kind of adding like 4,000 net worth by dumping these 2 items on him.
Faceless are coming.
1 minute left on the Aegis. You can't wait this one out.
Well, you know what Black's going to do. He's going to sit in the front lines. You want to fight him? Well, that's going to help when you get a bash or the no-tail. A couple more hits. Mana Void's off cooldown. He wants to let it go. Blinks forward. Actually doesn't even need to. Remember that that Aegis Immortal. The timer, it's going to be close. They don't want to kill him off. The rock is nice, plus the Fatal Bonds. Nuts going to be the first one to fall. 4-man back. Drag them all back into the fight if it's going to be possible. Buyback out from Notel. They want to fight this one. Jump forward. Black still with the Aegis Immortal. Needs to be the frontliner. They're actually trying to not kill him off with the Burrow Strike. Jirax will have to trigger the hook shot to the backlines, catching Jirax as Animate back to the wall of living. First hit bash onto Notel. They just don't get anything until Black splits them up with the Mana Void. Too much damage, too much power, too much Faceless. Anna back into the fight. Can they kill off? They need the Anti-Mage. They need him dead. Mana Void. Actually, there's a Mana Star still available for Black. If he wants to split it, Anna, he's out of mana. They usually get the back and the Fatal Bonds again, so Black can pick up a double kill. As the damage continues to be split, Black will go back in again, looking for the kill. He's actually killing off his teammate at the same time he's doing that. Ice barely lives, going sub 50 HP with the damage that Black was taking, but they will both escape.
Black almost just killed his entire team there. I think he ended up killing XY with the Fatal Bonds, but gotta get that sweet, sweet Storm Spirit kill.
Yeah.
Very low on charges. 5 charges left. Now with a 5 back.
I'll take
Just a couple of minutes left until the next roast. They can just rinse and repeat with that. With an Abyssal soon on the Anti-Mage. Looks like
I don't
he's
think he even
committing for that.
needs it. Like the bash chances which Black has been getting in those fights. The first hit onto Notel, the Lycan is just incapable of moving. Okay, Nuts. That's kill. Poor Crystal Maiden.
It was very close. It was Atos. Another way to deal with the Storm and a good way to deal with the potential Lincoln Sphere. This is by far the most common encounter to deal with the big old Mana Void. But he's a long ways from it. He had 1337 gold and I just checked, and that's, I don't think he's going to have it up for the next fight. And even then, he could just get Abyssal immediately.
What a nice time to deliver the Blink Dagger. The hookshot didn't have the range anyway, so Jirax will be able to escape.
Even if he does land a big epicenter, that's still not going to be enough damage to kill Black. You can dump the Lincoln Sphere on him with the Weaver, and then he has max spell shield right now.
And that buyback actually hurts him so hard. It's like Notel, you're right. He doesn't have enough damage output. The fact that he had to buy back, like, expends so much, like both himself as well as Anna. Like, their 2 damage dealers just don't inflict enough. They needed to finish up the Assault Cuirass and be looking at something else for the Lycan.
Who's going to get Abyssal first?
Oh, who's just going to get bashed? The Warlock will probably be the bigger target. If Black can actually remove Fatal Bonds plus the Golem, I'm wondering if there is any way that OG can fight.
He's walking in the Storm, perhaps? Oh, Anna wants
with
this
the
wave.
Invis. This is cruel. They're scanning, the Dire is scanning. They're wondering if Anna is bait. It's the only reason he's not going on it, and they are right, it is bait. But the attack from OG is coming from the other side. So Observer Ward will see Black. Jirax is close over towards Nuts and the Hawk shot. They saw him for an instant. There's your Abyssal Blade, and well, celebrating his purchase of the Blink Dagger, he'll do it with death.
At least he spent his gold.
At least
I guess he didn't have any to begin with. Sad times. Trying to create space and make a big play before Roshan.
But the space was created by Faceless. The tier 3 tower was under attack. That's why OG gave up on the push. They just weren't ready for it. Meanwhile, the pockets of Faceless continue to be lined. Anti-Mage now over the 20,000 net worth. You've almost actually got, well, he's almost got 1,000 XP per minute on that Anti-Mage.
Yeah, if you take away his net worth, it would almost be an even net worth game. Almost.
Almost. He's only at 752 gold per minute on the Anti-Mage. For Black, that's actually quite low.
Not even godlike yet. Should be soon though. And Roshan gonna respawn in a very quick amount of time. About 15, 20 seconds left for them. They need to eliminate any possible way for OG to come back though. And the easiest way for them to come back is if Storm gets an Aegis.
He's mine.
And then he can get 10 Bloodstone charges.
But the only way
and
that
keep
works
going.
is they smoke into Roshan. That wolf that's sitting inside the pit is going to scan out the early Roshan. So Faceless, they have to be aware of this. They have to be looking towards Clockwork Rockets from Jabs, just to keep eyes on the pit. Make sure that OG can't just sneak it.
I think it's the only way you win, though. If you're OG, you have to be able to deal with this. Alternatively, I think you could defend high ground with Shrine uses on Storm Spirit, but with no buyback and no Lincolns on him, I think he is just a walking bomb for the Mana Void.
They're going to find the wolf. Well, they're going to hit it for half a second. We really need to actually fix that Roche clock. Okay, Roshan is now up. He's been sitting on 0 for the last 20 seconds. Oh, that's an easy pick.
And surprisingly, there's no gem on the side of Faceless. I think it'd be easy for them to pick up. Actually, we see an Aether Lens on the Night Stalker. Cast range, I suppose, going to be the most useful stat from that item. But that wolf still is parked inside the pit. If you time a rock drop with the storm zip in,
Sentry was down. They see the wolf.
Yeah, they can still get vision.
But you don't have the rock. You don't have Warlock for 20 seconds time. He's still down after being picked off.
He's got to YOLO it, Toby.
And well, S4 looks like he wants to, but they jump in quick. Abyssal Blade. S4's gonna be dead before he could do anything. Black finds the kill. Now he is beyond godlike. Back to the Roshan. The wolf gets cleaved down as Black was killing out Roshan. A secondary wolf comes in. The sentry wall is still detected. Hook shot. Actually, jabs going up towards the Ancients. They're looking for an opening. It's Jirax playing around on the back lines, but still, it doesn't stop Faces from achieving what they want. Roshan taken, Agency Model in their hands, and most importantly, not in the hands of Anna.
Yeah, I think it's time to end the game for them. Just the recent BKB pick up on the anti-mage makes it near impossible for them to kill him. Looks like they are looking for perhaps... Oh my goodness, he gets the stop on Jirax.
This is problematic. If Jirax can't come back, they don't have their initiating stun unless they're going to use Rock.
He doesn't have TP, he just got it interrupted. There's no hiding.
Hunts him in the trees. Where's that gem? Where's that detection?
It's probably not even worth it. It's still going to be way too long on a TP cooldown.
Black still taking the tier 3 tower. Now the jump forward while the rest of Faces were trying to hunt out Jirax. Maybe he did create the space. Black, a quick jump away. The wolves are right behind, trying to keep the vision up and running. Oh, poor nuts. You just pick off the weakest wolf in the pack if it's going to be possible. The rock will fall. The Metal Bonds have to connect it with the mana void. The spill damage is just so heavy. In a hawk shot, they hold him there. Darkseer will fall. The storm's already gone. Actually, Darkseer's got enough space. Black blinks over. He wants to kill onto S4, playing around the trees. Black can't do it. S4 is actually going to out-juke him. Back up, around to the safety of the wall. Back home and away from the scary, scary anti-mage. Who's approaching your tier 4 towers, remembers objective-based gaming and attacks the tier 4 towers. And meanwhile, the long story of Jirax. This started a couple of chapters ago where you had Jirax trying to return home. The prodigal son is trying to return. Meanwhile, he's losing his home. There won't be much inheritance to take from the OG family. Ice, he wants this. Screw the base. We don't care about the base. We care about Jirax actually surviving. Over towards the lane. He can't even get to a TP just yet. A quick sandstorm. Ice, find him. Meanwhile, the mid lane has actually been taken. But Jirax, stay in the trees. Hide in the trees. Flight in 7 seconds time. Jirax. Ice can smell him. He knows. The rocket, it flies in, and the range for the void. Finally, Jirax will fall.
Savage.
Somebody call interference on that with that clockwork. It was a straight one-on-one for like 2 minutes.
You say it's tag team, but that tag team came at the same time. So we can check out the Radiant base meanwhile. So the mid-ranks has fallen. The bottom tier 3 tower has been taken out as well. This was the damage that was done while we were off having our side story.
Reminds me of those instances in pubs like, fight me in the river, one-on-one.
you want a piece of this? Oh, Black is happy to take a piece of everything of OG. He can just sit here, wait for the creep wave to arrive, wait for the rest of his team to arrive. There's no way OG can fight him. BKB and Manta means any of their lockdown control has no effect on the anti-mage. And No Tail needs damage. Okay, well that's one way again. Take the anti-mage, try and use it against him, so Black has to fight himself. He's actually perfectly alright with this now. He's a lot stronger than his clone.
Could easily wait out the wall. They still have plenty of time left on the illusion, and the only thing stopping Black is backdoor protection and his own illusion.
As long as he can like avoid creating one. The mid creep wave will be pushing in, so they'll have that arrive eventually. So maybe it's worthwhile putting a wolf up there on an Iron Shell. But they're trying to keep all their damage in. S4 as well as No Tail being Iron Shelled up as Black, playing with a wall. Okay, S4. He'll pull it in, but the illusion's got 1 second life. So a very dead quick clone. And now they come again, Team Faceless. Jabs would love a nice initiation. We got the pipe, darkness up for Ice, so welcome to the silence. Lycan can't get in his ulti form, he doesn't even have mana for it. They turn around and Lycan bashed up as he got the space jabs, hook shots forward. Their cogs burn the mana void, not enough to get the kill on Black. Couldn't get the lucky bash. So Lycan runs all the way back home into his ulti form. But the bottom rack has been taken, so OG, you know what they need to do. They need to fight, or else Faces will end this game now. It seems impossible, being 33,000 net worth behind. No-Tail, he's almost playing like bait dog. Pull him to the front lines, find an opening. No-Tail still insanely low. The jump forward with the Vortex, they're pulling Black back, but he's got the Aegis the Immortal. So what do you get from committing onto this anti-mage? Diddly squat is what you get.
You wanted that dog to come over here.
Just whistle. Darkness will end, so we go back into daytime. We've got another minute and a half until nighttime will arrive for Faceless, but the illusions are doing the work on the tier 3 tower. They can kill off the shrines in the meantime. And OG are in repair mode.
Very reserved play from Faceless. They waited out the entirety of the wall. They're very close to the Aegis expiration. I think it was 30 seconds when they blinked out and made the call to back off. And they don't have to end the game right now. There is still, I guess, one more slot for the anti-mage if he really wanted it with the Moon Shard. But aside from that, they're still, it's not like OG's farming at all.
Yeah. OG can't farm at all. No-Tail's the one who really needs to find that money.
He cannot man fight. He can't deal with the butterfly evasion. He can't deal with the bashes. And I think OG have been a little bit fortuitous in how few times that anti-mage has bashed. Bash RNG not in their favor.
You actually have like Lotus Orb also, so you can throw that onto the anti-mage. If Storm Spirit wants to initiate, and it's just going to end up disabling himself.
Yeah, the only bad thing about the butterfly is it's going to be really hard for anti-mage to kill his own illusion. So still need to be wary about the wall.
Cogburn, No-Tail. Oh, that is not what he won't have to do. Triggers the ulti coming over to try and battle against Black, who is carrying the cheese. The Rod of Atos, like in the Boris Track, maybe a little bit of space, but in deep. Jab finds Fly in the back lines with the Battery Assault. Fly, okay, this is the way to create space. Anna holding the Clockwork in position. The Mana Void damage is heavy. Lycan's gone, Darkseer is gone, and they go deeper inside the base. Yurik trying to wait out the tree lines, get hit by the Chikuchi as XY goes in deep. The Desolate attack, not enough damage, but they'll have it against him. And that is S4 gone, and GG eventually is called. It's been a slow train to the Faceless victory, and giving us a game 3 now.
Black trying to make another legend out of himself in the anti-mage. The perfect pick to deal with the anti-mage. I also think that Jab was amazing